Simon's up next, a Chelsea fan. Hello, Simon. Good evening.
Hi, how are you guys?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm happy Lampard went, and the reason is I think that I'm not sure why there's so much sympathy for him, because he deserved to go. I think he's been poor. Even when we win, like Jason said, it's been a struggle. At Fulham, we were very lucky, and I don't really understand the sympathy. Like, when Sarri left, he did a much better job, but no one had the sympathy for him. Like, under Lampard, he has the worst win percentage, and against the Big Six, we're terrible. And there's no game plan. When I watch Chelsea, I don't know what we're trying to do. We just like...
Simon, can I ask, when you say you don't understand why he's getting the sympathy, I don't want to misquote you. You genuinely don't understand why Frank Lampard is getting sympathy?
No, I do, but he's a manager. We're not talking about Frank Lampard.
No, but that's the reason, isn't it?
He's a manager.
That's the reason.
It doesn't matter about that. He's a manager.
No, but that's why he's getting it, Simon, because he's probably your club's biggest legend.
I get that, and I do love him. Him and Drogba are my favourite players, but he's been poor as a manager.
Let me ask you a question, Simon. Let me ask you a question.
Can see that.
Let me ask you a question, right? That period was poor. You can't get away from that. But when you appoint a manager like Frank Lampard, who's only had a year's experience, coming into a club like Chelsea, do you not think that there is an argument to be had to say that there is going to be bumps in the road? He is learning on the job. He's only been managing 2. So we're not talking about an experienced manager here. We're talking about someone who's going to make mistakes and is learning. There is.
They should have gave him to the end of the season.
Then I think that's what a lot of people feel, that perhaps he should have been given
hired in the first place. I think I called you guys and said this. He should never ever be hired. Solskjaer the same, Arteta the same. They don't deserve to have these jobs. They've done nothing.
Well, at the moment, Solskjaer does. At the moment, Solskjaer does. Simon is sitting top of the Premier League.
He's not going to win the league. He's not going to win the league.
How do you know that?
You know. Because I'll bet £100 to any charity.
Well, you don't need to bet money, but at the moment, halfway through the season, you're 100% wrong.
Well, I don't think he's going to win the league. I don't think he's good enough. If Fernandes gets injured, I don't think you're going to do anything.
Well, what about if he doesn't? Simon, if he doesn't, is he good enough?
Even if he stays fit, you're not going to win the league. That's my opinion. I think City are going to win the league. But I just don't see what they've done in football to get a job like that.
One of the reasons I felt Frank got the job, and I said at the time I felt was the right call, was the transfer ban was key. Transfer ban. Chelsea had a transfer ban, and Chelsea then were going to have to be heavily reliant on the youth team. Something Chelsea managers in the past have not done because they haven't had to. And there was a part of he wanted to do it, Frank, because we got some brilliant young players coming through, and he proved actually you can come into a club like Chelsea and still get into a position and challenge. Got to a final and got top 4. What's happened this year is that there's such heavily invested in the squad, huge signings, and he hasn't quite been able to work out that. And in some ways, you could make the point that the money spent actually gave Frank a bigger headache, not made life easier.
I agree.